The world ended quietly. No bombs, no fire, no warning. When the sun rose, 3 billion people were gone. Houses stood open, doors swinging in the wind. Cars sat in the middle of the road, engines still running. Half-eaten meals cooled on kitchen tables. Phones rang in empty apartments. Airplanes fell from the sky, their pilots missing mid-dash flight. It all happened in one night. The empty streets. Captain Elias Ward sat in his truck, staring at the road ahead. He had driven for hours and hadn't seen another car moving. His hands gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles were white. The radio crackled, the same emergency message repeating every few minutes. This is a national broadcast. Stay indoors, shelter in place, await further instructions. But there were no instructions. No one answered the calls for help. Elias passed through this small town of Norwood. It should have been busy at this time. School buses, coffee shops, people heading to work. Instead, the streets were silent. A dog barked somewhere far away, the sound echoing through the stillness. Elias saw it, standing in the middle of the road, tail between its legs, whining. The leash was still attached, dragging on the ground. Its owner was gone. Elias parked and got out. The air was heavy, unnatural. Even the wind seemed to have stopped. The survivors. He wasn't alone for long. A voice called out, shaky but loud, "Hey! You're alive?" Elias turned and saw a woman running toward him. She was mid-30s, wearing a torn coat and holding a kitchen knife like it was a sword. "My name's Mara," she said, breathing hard. "Everyone's gone. My neighbors, my sister. I woke up and," her voice cracked, "they're just gone." Before Elias could answer, another figure stepped from a doorway. A teenager, maybe 16, holding a baseball bat. His clothes were dirty, and his eyes darted everywhere like he was ready to run. "I'm Noah," he said. "You guys heard the screams last night?" Elias frowned. "What screams?" Noah looked at them like they were crazy. "I heard, I don't know, voices whispering. Then it felt like someone was in my head. I woke up and my parents were gone." Signs of panic. The three of them moved together, searching the town for other survivors. Most buildings were open, doors unlocked, lights still on. In one grocery store, half-full shopping carts sat abandoned in the aisles. A radio played soft music in the background, but there was no one to turn it off. Mara found a small TV in the back and turned it on. Every channel was the same, a red warning screen, no live news. No officials. Elias grabbed a dusty map from the shelf. "If this happened everywhere, we need to find someplace safe. Big cities will be worse." That's when they heard it, a low, distant rumble, like thunder. But the sky was clear. The bunker alarm. The sound grew louder, mechanical, steady. It wasn't thunder. It was an alarm. Noah tilted his head. "It's coming from the mountains." Elias's stomach tightened. He knew that sound. Years ago, during his time in the army, he had trained near a classified facility in those mountains. The alarm was a containment breach signal. It had one meaning: something inside had escaped. They followed the sound out of town, driving Elias's truck through winding mountain roads. The alarm grew louder with every turn. Finally they saw it, a massive steel bunker door, built into the side of the mountain. The air above shimmered with heat, as if the mountain itself was breathing. The door was slightly open. Smoke drifted out, the forgotten vault. They stepped inside. The smell hit first, cold metal mixed with something sharp, like ozone after a lightning strike. The walls were lined with thick blast doors, each marked with a number and a warning sign. Some doors were dented from the inside, as if something had tried to break out for years. A voice spoke suddenly, making all three freeze. "Containment breach confirmed. All units are offline. Biological assets unrestrained." It was an automated AI voice, cold and calm. Mara whispered, What's in here?" Elias stared at the nearest blast door. The label read, Project 7, the voice. He remembered the rumors. The government had locked away living weapons here. People changed by war, experiments, alien tech. Too dangerous to use. Too dangerous to kill. The first cell opens, the AI spoke again. Cell 07, unlocked. A heavy clunk echoed down the corridor. Metal groaned. Noah gripped his bat tighter. We should leave now. But Elias didn't move. He felt something in the air, a pressure, like the moment before a storm breaks. The blast door slid open with a screech. Steam poured out, curling around their legs. A figure stepped through. She was tall, barefoot, her hair black as midnight. Her eyes glowed faint red in the dim light. When she spoke, her voice was soft, almost a whisper. But it carried through the hall like a blade, free. Mara took a step back. Who are you? The woman tilted her head, as if testing. The sound of the air. They called me Kara, but you can call me whatever you like. It won't matter. Elias swallowed. Where did the others go? The people? Kara's faint smile didn't reach her eyes. Gone, like the chains that held me. A terrible realization. The ground shook, faint but steady. Farther down the corridor, more blast doors were opening. Kara turned her head slightly, as if hearing. Something the others could not. They're waking up. All of them. Elias stepped forward. How many? She looked at him with an expression that was almost pity. 13. Mara glanced at Elias. 13 what? Kara's voice was barely above a whisper, but it made the hair on the back of their necks stand up. 13 weapons. 13 storms. 13 ends for your world. The countdown. The AI's voice boomed again through the halls. Containment. Integrity, 0%. All subjects released. One by one, the alarms stopped. The bunker went silent. Somewhere in that silence, deep in the mountain, something laughed. Cliffhanger ending for part 1. Elias, Mara, and Noah stood frozen as Kara stepped past them toward the open world. The vanishing was only the first step. She said, now the real war begins. Outside, the wind picked up, carrying with it the faint sound of distant, inhuman screams. The sun dipped behind the mountains, and the world seemed to hold its breath, somewhere far above the clouds. Alien eyes were watching, and they were smiling. The mountain was still shaking. The alarms had gone silent, but Elias Ward knew that was worse. When the noise stops in a place like this, it means whatever was inside is free. Beside him, Mara gripped her knife tighter. Noah stood back, baseball bat in hand, his eyes wide as he stared at Kara, the barefoot woman who had just stepped out of the first open cell. Kara's red eyes moved slowly over each of them. She didn't rush, didn't seem afraid, and that made Elias even more uneasy. Dangerous people didn't need to act dangerous. They just were. You need to leave, Kara said softly. Now, this place will not hold the others for long. Elias narrowed his eyes. The others, the 13? She tilted her head slightly, a shadow of a smile on her lips. Not the 13. We are the 13, and some of us do not like being woken. Mara stepped forward. Are you saying they'll hurt people? Kara's smile faded. People, they will end cities. The corridor of doors Elias led them deeper into the bunker. The main hallway was long, dimly lit, lined with enormous blast doors. Each door had a number and a name burned into the metal. Plate, Project 01, the Iron Wolf. Project 02, the Stormchild. Project 03, the Silent King. And so on, all the way to Project 13, Zero Flame. Some doors were still sealed shut. Others hung open, steam curling out from the darkness beyond. The floor was marked with deep scratches, as if something with claws had been dragged across the Fionde. Metal. Noah glanced nervously into one of the open cells. What happened here? Why did the army have people like this locked away? Elias didn't answer right away. He'd heard rumors when he was a soldier, stories about a war that never made it into the history books. A war against something not from Earth. The 13 had been created from alien DNA and human hosts, built to fight enemies humanity couldn't even understand. But they had been too powerful, too unstable. After the war ended, they were locked away here, forgotten. The Black Vault control room. They reached the control room, a circular space with shattered screens and flickering lights. The air smelled faintly of burnt wires. Kara stepped over broken glass and began touching the controls, like she had done it before. "The systems are dying," she murmured. "When the power fails completely, all remaining locks will open." Elias joined her at the main console. "Who opened them in the first place?" Her eyes narrowed. "Not your kind. This is not your technology." Before he could ask more, one of the screens lit up with a security feed. It showed a tall, armored figure walking down another corridor. His armor was made of black metal, and strange glowing wires ran under the plates like veins. Kara's eyes darkened. "The Iron Wolf." The Iron Wolf. The screen fizzled and died, but not before Elias saw the Iron Wolf's hand. It wasn't flesh. It was a machine's hand, sharp and inhuman. "He will come here," Kara said. "He can smell the power in this room, and he will kill you if you stand in his way." Mara turned to Elias. "We should leave now." But Elias shook his head. "If this guy's as bad as she says, we can't just let him roam free." Kara gave him a cold look. "You cannot stop him. Your weapons are nothing. He can control them, make them turn against you." Before Elias could answer, the lights flickered and died. The emergency red lights blinked on, painting the room in a bloody glow. Then came the sound, slow, heavy footsteps, echoing through the metal halls. The first confrontation, the Iron Wolf, appeared in the doorway. His armor was black, dented, and covered in strange alien symbols. His eyes glowed an unnatural blue. Kara stepped in front of Elias and the others. "Wolf," she said calmly. The Iron Wolf's voice was deep and metallic. "You are awake, voice. But you keep human company. Why?" "They saved me," Kara said simply. The wolf tilted his head. "Then they are already dead." He raised one hand, and every piece of metal in the room shivered. Elias's rifle was ripped from his hands, flying through the air into the wolf's grip. Elias grabbed Mara and Noah, pulling them behind a console. The wolf's footsteps were slow, deliberate. Kara's eyes glowed brighter. She took one step forward and spoke a single word, a word that felt like it shook the air itself. The Iron Wolf froze. His head snapped toward her, his movement suddenly jerky, like a machine fighting its own programming. But then he laughed, a harsh metallic sound. "Your voice is weaker than before. Retreat." Kara's jaw tightened. She turned to Elias. "We leave now." They ran through the corridors, the sound of the Iron Wolf's pursuit following them, heavy, unstoppable steps echoing closer. They reached a massive blast door at the far end of the hall. Kara slammed her hand against the control panel. The door began to close, painfully slow. The Iron Wolf appeared at the far end of the corridor, sprinting now. Elias pulled Mara and Noah through just as the door shut with a deafening clang. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, from the other side of the door, the Iron Wolf's voice. The vanishing was only step one. The vanishing connection. They made their way out into the cold night air. The wind howled through the mountains. Elias turned to Kara. "What does he mean? What's the vanishing got to do with you?" Kara looked out at the dark horizon. "The people who are gone. They are not dead. They have been taken. And the ones who took them want us." Mara's voice trembled. "Us?" Kara's red eyes met hers. "The 13. We are the only ones who can fight them. And they will take us or kill us before they let that happen." A dead world. They drove back toward town. But the roads were worse now. Cars abandoned in every lane, some crashed into each other. Streetlights flickered weakly. They passed a gas station with its door hanging open. Inside, the shelves were full, untouched. The cashier's chair sat empty, the coffee still steaming in a paper cup. It wasn't just people who were gone. It felt like the world's soul had been taken with them. The decision, that night, they camped in the ruins of an old ranger station in the foothills. Elias sat awake, staring at the dark sky. Kara sat across from him, her eyes faintly glowing even in the shadows. "You could leave," she said quietly. "Take your friends. Find a place far from the others." Elias shook his head. "You're saying these 13 are walking around out there, and there's something worse coming for them. If we run, we'll just die later." Kara studied him for a long moment. "Then you will help me find them." The first lid Kara closed, her eyes as if listening to something far away. The storm child is awake. She is angry. The air crackles where she walks. "Where?" Elias asked. Kara's lips curled into a faint, dangerous smile. "Not far, but you will not like the weather." Thunder rumbled in the distance, even though the sky above them was still clear. Elias checked his rifle, then looked at Mara and Noah. "We move at first light." Cliffhanger for part 3. As they prepared to rest, none of them saw the small, insect-like drone hovering far above, its glassy lens focused on their camp. Miles away, inside an alien ship orbiting Earth, a tall, pale figure watched the feed with unblinking black eyes. "The voice has all eyes," it said in a language not of Earth. "We will take them too." Far below, thunder rolled again, closer this time. The hunt had begun. The storm began before dawn. One moment, the sky above the ranger station was clear. The next, black clouds rolled in like an invading army. Lightning split the horizon again and again, each strike shaking the ground. Elias Ward stood outside, rain running down his face, watching the storm form far too fast to be natural. Behind him, Mara's voice was tight with fear. "This is her, isn't it? The storm child?" Kara stepped past Elias, barefoot in the wet grass, red eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Yes, and she is not happy to see us." The storm's call. Noah pointed toward the valley below. "Look." A single figure moved through the fields, walking slowly but leaving chaos in her wake. Lightning crashed all around her, trees bursting into flame. The air shimmered with heat despite the cold rain. Kara spoke softly, almost to herself. She was only a girl when they made her, barely 12. She never stopped being angry about it. Elias adjusted his rifle strap. "If she's that dangerous, how do we even get close?" "You don't," Kara said simply. "I will." Approaching the storm child, they made their way down into the valley. The rain was blinding, the wind so strong it felt like it could tear the skin from their faces. Kara walked ahead without hesitation, each step deliberate. The closer they got, the more the air crackled. Elias could feel his hair standing on end. The storm child stopped when she saw them. She was small, barely 5 feet tall, with tangled blonde hair plastered to her face. Her eyes glowed white like lightning itself. "You," she said, her voice echoing unnaturally through the storm. "They opened the vault." "Yes," Kara replied. "They shouldn't have," the storm child said. "I liked it better when no one could find me." Lightning struck the ground between them, so close that the blast threw Elias and the others back a step. The argument Kara didn't flinch. "You can hide if you want, but they are coming for all of us. They've already taken billions." The storm child's expression didn't change. "Not my problem." Elias stepped forward, rain dripping from his jacket. "It will be your problem when they kill you, or worse, when they use you." Her glowing eyes locked on him. "Human soldiers said that once. Then they locked me in a box for 20 years. Kara's voice was calm but firm. "The aliens will not give you that luxury. You fight with us, or you will die alone." For a moment, only the storm answered. The first alliance. Finally, the storm child spoke again. "I'll fight. But not because of you. Because I want to burn them for what they've done." The storm began to calm. The rain slowed and the black clouds pulled back slightly, letting through a weak morning light. Mara whispered to Elias, "She scares me." "Good," Elias replied. "She should scare the aliens more." Strange lights as they began the walk. Back to the ranger station, Noah stopped suddenly and pointed toward the sky. Is that a star moving?" It wasn't a star. 3 bright points of light were descending from the clouds, moving fast and in perfect formation. The sound reached them a second later, a deep, throbbing hum that seemed to vibrate in their bones. Kara's expression darkened. "They found us." The first strike, the lights resolved into alien craft, black insect-like shapes with glowing underbellies. They circled overhead before one of them opened fire. A beam of white energy slammed into the ground, throwing dirt and smoke into the air. Trees burst apart like matchsticks. "Run!" Elias shouted. They scrambled into the cover of the trees, as another beam scorched the ground behind them. The storm child turned, eyes blazing. "You want to fight? Fine." She raised her arms to the sky, and the storm returned with a vengeance. Lightning struck one of the alien ships dead on, blowing a hole through its hull. It spun out of control and crashed into the hillside in a burst of flame. The other 2 ships immediately shifted targets. Retreat, and revelation. Kara pulled Elias toward a narrow ravine. "They will call for more ships. We have to move." As they ran, Elias noticed something. The aliens weren't trying to kill the storm child. They were trying to trap her. They want her alive. He realized. Kara nodded grimly. "They want all of us alive. We are more valuable to them breathing." Mara glanced over her shoulder at the alien craft still circling above. "Why? What do they want with you?" Kara's voice was flat. "To make more of us." The wreckage. They followed the smoke to the wreck of the downed alien ship. The black metal hull was twisted and broken, but parts of it were still glowing with strange blue light. Inside, the corridors were cramped and slick with some kind of oily fluid. The smell was sharp and chemical, making their eyes water. In one compartment, they found a row of tall glass tubes filled with green liquid. Inside each tube floated a human figure, pale, unmoving, eyes closed. Mara covered her mouth. "Oh my God, are they alive?" Kara stepped closer, studying the tubes. "Yes, in stasis. These are the ones they took in the Vanishing." The alien message. Noah called from deeper inside the wreck. You guys might want to see this." They followed him to the ship's bridge. A single alien sat slumped in the pilot's seat. Tall and thin, with skin like dull silver and black, empty eyes. As Kara approached, the alien's head snapped up. Its mouth moved, but the voice that came out was not its own. It was the same cold, I voice from the bunker. "Return our property, or we will take it by force." The alien's body went limp, collapsing forward onto the controls. The storm child's choice back outside. The storm child stood looking at the wreckage. "If they're taking humans to make weapons, then I have no reason to hide anymore." Elias looked at her. "You'll help us?" She gave a slow nod. "But you're still human. Don't think I trust you." Kara almost smiled. "Trust is not required. Survival is." A new target. They decided to move toward the mountains again. Where Kara said another of the 13 might be, someone called. The Iron Vault had hinted at the next step in the aliens' plan. But as they packed, Kara suddenly went still, her eyes unfocusing. "They have him," she whispered. "Who?" Elias asked. "The storm child is not the only one they hunt. They've already taken one of us. The aliens are collecting us one by one." Cliffhanger ending for part 3. That night, they camped deep in the forest, the fire barely more than glowing. Embers to avoid detection. Far above, in the darkness beyond the stars, An alien ship moved silently toward Earth. Inside, a row of glass pods held strange, sleeping figures, each one more terrifying than the last dot in the center pod. A man with eyes like molten silver slowly opened them, and he smiled. The night was too quiet. Elias Ward sat by the dim campfire, staring into the darkness. The storm child had fallen asleep against a tree, her breathing slow, her eyes still faintly glowing under closed lids. Kara sat motionless on the other side of the fire, watching the sky like a predator waiting for movement. "Something's wrong," Kara said finally. Elias followed her gaze upward. At first, he saw nothing but stars. Then, one of them moved. The sky changes, the star grew brighter, then another. Then dozens more, small points of light shifting, aligning, forming strange shapes in the night. Noah sat up, rubbing his eyes. Guys, the stars are moving." Mara stood slowly. "Those aren't stars." Kara's voice was calm, but her words sent a chill through all of them. "They're here." The points of light grew into massive black shapes blocking the stars. Alien warships, hundreds of them, sliding into position above the Earth. The broadcast one ship, larger than the rest, descended lower. From its underside, a beam of pale light spread across the clouds, projecting an image into the sky. A tall alien figure appeared, silver skin, black eyes, wearing armor that looked alive. Its voice boomed in a language none of them knew. Then, somehow the words shifted, becoming clear English. "People of Earth, we took your billions, we will take the rest. Unless you give us your weapons." Elias's jaw tightened. "They mean the 13. The alien continued, "You have 7 days. After that, your world will belong to us." The image flickered and vanished. The ships remained, hanging like a dark ceiling over the night sky. The group's reaction. Mara broke the silence. 7 days? That's nothing. We can't even find the rest of the 13 in time." Kara's gaze stayed on the ships. "They already know where we are. They will not wait 7 days." The broadcast was not a warning. It was bait. Elias frowned. "Bait for what?" "To make the other 13 show themselves," Kara said. "Some will come to fight. Some will surrender. All will be hunted." The plan. Elias gathered everyone close to the fire. "We need to move, and we need to find more of the 13 before the aliens do. If they get all of you, Earth is done." The storm child crossed her arms. "And how exactly are you going to find them? You don't even know where they are." Kara's eyes glowed faintly. "I do." Noah looked at her. "You just know?" Kara nodded. "We were connected once, in the vault. I can feel them when they wake, and one has just woken in the north." The journey north. They left before dawn, traveling through dense forest to avoid being seen from above. Alien patrol drones buzzed through the skies, scanning the ground with thin beams of light. Once, they had to hide under a fallen tree as a drone passed so low they could hear its insect-like clicking. The storm child gripped the ground so tightly that sparks of electricity danced between her fingers. Mara whispered, "Don't, they'll see the light." The silent village. By midday, they reached a small mountain village. It should have been alive with voices and cooking smells. Instead, it was dead silent. Every house stood open. Pots still boiled on stoves. A radio played in one home. The DJ's cheerful voice cut short mid-sentence. Noah's voice trembled. "It's like they were all just pulled out of the world." Kara stopped in front of a stone church. "He's here." The iron vaults trail inside the church. The pews were broken, the altar shattered. The smell of burnt metal filled the air. In the center of the room stood a man, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a tattered coat. His eyes glowed faint gold. Kara spoke first. "Zero Flame." He looked at her without expression. "Kara, I heard the call." Elias stepped forward. "We're gathering the 13 before the aliens get to them." Zero Flame's voice was Lo, they already have two. The Silent King and the Iron Wolf. Mara glanced at Elias. The Iron Wolf we've seen. But who's the Silent King? Kara's face darkened. The most dangerous of us all. If the aliens control him, this war is already over. The aliens strike before they could say more. A shadow passed over the church. A high-pitched hum filled the air. Kara's eyes widened. They found us. The roof exploded inward as an alien dropship tore through it. Soldiers poured out, tall, silver-skinned, armed with weapons that pulsed with blue energy. Zero Flame's eyes blazed orange. "Stay behind me." He raised his hands, and fire erupted, white-hot and blinding. The first wave of aliens dissolved. Into ash, the Storm Child joined in, lightning cracking through the room, shattering weapons and walls alike. The capture attempt, but the aliens didn't try to kill them. Instead, strange net-like projectiles fired from the dropship, glowing with an unnatural light. One hit Zero Flame, and his fire vanished instantly. He fell to his knees, gasping in pain. "They're using nullifiers," Kara shouted. "If they trap him, he's theirs." Elias dove forward, grabbing the net and slicing it apart with his combat knife. Sparks burned his hands, but the net fell away and Zero Flame's fire roared back to life. The aliens retreated to their ship, but not before one of them shouted something in their language, a sound like metal grinding. Kara's eyes narrowed. They'll be back, in greater numbers. A desperate escape, they fled the village, flames still burning in the church behind them. Alien drones circled overhead, but the thick forest canopy gave them cover. By nightfall, they had made it to a high ridge overlooking the valley. In the distance, dozens of alien ships hovered like black stones in the sky. Zero Flame stood beside Elias. "You know we can't win this with just us." Elias looked at him. "Then we find more, fast." The bigger truth as the group rested. Kara finally spoke about the Silent King. "He was the first of us," she said. "Perfect control over any mind he touches, human, alien. Even one of the 13. He doesn't kill, he takes. If they've captured him, every battle could be over before it begins." Mara shivered. "Then we have to get him back." Kara shook her head. "If he's turned willingly, there's no getting him back." Cliffhanger for Part 5, far above. Aboard the largest alien warship, the Silent King stood in a chamber of glass. Below him, billions of humans floated in stasis pods. The alien commander approached. The others gather. The Silent King smiled faintly. "Good. Bring them to me. I will make them ours." Back on Earth, Elias stared up at the sky, knowing that somewhere in that endless black, their deadliest enemy was already waiting. The sky was red before dawn. Elias Ward stood on the ridge, overlooking the valley, the glow of alien ships reflecting in his eyes. Hundreds of black forms hovered above the mountains, warships, drones, and strange vessels Elias had never seen. The wind carried the low hum of their engines like a warning. Beside him, Kara's bare feet dug into the dirt. Her eyes glowed faint red in the dim morning light. The Storm Child's fingers sparked with electricity, and Zero Flame's hands glowed with embers, ready for the fight to come. Elias swallowed. "This isn't just a war. It's a hunt," Kara nodded. "And we're the prey." Tracking the 13, Kara led them through the jagged mountains, moving silently between cliffs and pine forests. The aliens had already taken one of the 13. The Silent King, and they could feel his presence, twisted by alien control. "Their networks are strong," Kara said. "Every ship is linked. They can find any 13 with a pulse. That's why we move at night." Noah glanced at her. "And what about the others? The ones we haven't found yet?" Kara's eyes were hard. "Some are already awake. Some are still locked away. Every second we wait, they are closer to being captured. We have no time to waste." The first ambush the group reached a narrow valley where the mist clung to the ground like fingers. As they moved through it, a high-pitched sound cut through the air, a signal only aliens could send. Suddenly, drones dropped from the clouds like black leaves. They swarmed the group, laser beams cutting across the mist. Elias fired his rifle, bullets sparking against the drone's armor. Mara ran beside him, swinging her knife and kicking drones off balance. The storm child raised her hands, sending arcs of lightning through the attacking machines. Sparks flew, metal screamed, and drones fell in pieces, but more drones came. Their numbers were endless. Kara moved forward, whispering a single word. The ground trembled, and a hole opened beneath the drones. They were swallowed by the earth itself, disappearing into blackness. Elias stared at her. What did you just do? I am connected to the vault, Kara said quietly. It lets me manipulate matter nearby, but I cannot hold it for long. The hidden fortress. They continued through the valley until they reached a cliffside fortress, abandoned centuries ago, half buried in the mountains. Kara stopped. This is where we rest and plan. Inside, the stone walls were thick, and the only light came from small cracks in the ceiling. Elias set up their meager weapons while Mara checked their supplies. Noah kept watch, nervous but alert. Kara and the storm child sat in silence. We have to find the Silent King before the aliens strengthen their control, Kara said. Zero Flame's eyes glowed faintly orange. And if we fail? Then the hunt begins in earnest, Kara said. We won't survive long against the fleets if we lose him. The alien ship above. That night, they heard the low hum of an alien ship approaching. It hovered above the fortress, massive and dark, blocking the moonlight. Drones, Kara whispered. They are scanning for us. The storm child's fingers sparked. I can make them regret this. Elias nodded. Let's hope we get the first strike. Lightning exploded from the storm child's hands, striking the hull of the ship. Sparks ran along its surface and alarms blared. But the ship did not fall. Instead, a single pod detached and descended slowly toward the fortress. Inside the pod, Elias could just make out movement, humanoid forms, suspended in green liquid. They found us, Mara said, horror in her voice. They're bringing more of the 13. The plan to infiltrate. Kara gathered everyone in a small room. We infiltrate. We get Silent King, and we escape. No mistakes. Zero Flame frowned. How do we get on a ship hundreds of feet above the ground? Kara's eyes glowed brighter. We climb, we fly, whatever it takes. I can open the vault partially, make a path through their energy shields, but only for a few minutes. We must move fast. Elias checked his rifle. Then we move fast. The ascent. They climbed to the ship using ropes, vines, and Kara's temporary shield to block detection. The wind was fierce, the ship's hum vibrating through the cliffside. Every second felt like hours. Noah nearly fell twice, but the storm child caught him with a bolt of electricity that acted like a safety line. Mara gritted her teeth, climbing silently, her knife ready for any alien who got too close. Finally, they reached the outer hull. Kara whispered another word, and a section of the ship's armor shimmered like water, revealing an opening just big enough for them to slip inside. Inside the alien ship, the interior was dark, sleek, and metallic. Blue light ran along the walls, illuminating corridors filled with machinery and strange alien symbols. The air hummed with energy, and the smell was sharp, like ozone and metal. Kara led them forward. Stay quiet. We can hear their thoughts through the energy fields. Don't make a sound. They passed pods filled with humans, some awake, some in stasis. Each one glowed faint green. Elias's stomach churned. These are the ones from the Vanishing, he whispered. Kara nodded. And more are coming. The aliens are collecting humans to make weapons. We need to stop them. The Silent King. Finally, they reached the chamber at the center of the ship. There, suspended in green liquid, was the Silent King. His golden eyes flickered open when he sensed them, Elias stepped forward. "We're here to get you out." The Silent King's voice was calm, almost bored. "You're late." Kara's hands glowed. "We have to hurry. The aliens will know we're here soon." Zero flames fire lit the corridor. "Then let's move, no delays." "The escape begins," Kara whispered another command, and the pods holding other humans began releasing them. Chaos erupted, humans stumbling, some screaming. Drones activated in the next corridor, moving to stop them. The Storm Child raised her hands. Lightning arced across the hall, destroying drones. Zero flame sent fire across the walls, blocking. Alien reinforcements. Elias grabbed the Silent King and moved toward the exit. Mara helped Noah guide the humans. The ship shook violently as alarms blared, and alien soldiers swarmed toward them. The narrow escape, they reached the outer hall. Kara's shield flickered under the alien energy fields. "We only have seconds." The Storm Child lashed out, sending a storm of lightning down the side of the ship. Zero flame created a path of fire along the deck. Elias ran with the Silent King, holding him tight as Mara pulled Noah and the humans behind them. The shield flickered one last time, and they jumped. The fall, they fell toward the forest below, the wind screaming in their ears. Kara's temporary shield protected them from impact, though the ground shook violently. Trees splintered around them. Elias scrambled up, helping the Silent King to his feet. "Is everyone okay?" Mara counted heads. "All alive, somehow." The Storm Child's electricity crackled in the air. "They'll come after us. The hunt isn't over." The cliffhanger ending for Part 5A. As they looked up, the alien ships had regrouped above the forest. Dozens of drones swarmed in circles, and one massive warship descended. Faster this time. The Silent King's golden eyes scanned the sky. "They want the 13 back." Kara's red eyes glowed. "Then we make them pay for every step they take." Lightning struck in the distance. The forest trembled. The hunt had truly begun. The sky burned red. Elias Ward stood on the ridge, staring at the alien fleet that hovered over the forest like a dark storm. Hundreds of ships, all bristling with weapons, blocked out the sun. Every moment, more arrived from the horizon, cutting off escape routes. Beside him, the 13 gathered, Kara with her red eyes glowing, the Storm Child sparking electricity from her fingers, Zero Flame radiating fire, and the Silent King. Golden eyes calm but deadly. Noah, Mara, and Elias held their weapons tight. They were humans, yes, fragile in body, but with the 13 leading them, they felt a power unlike anything the aliens expected. "This is it," Elias said quietly. "Earth's last stand." Kara nodded. "No mercy. They took billions. Tonight, we take back our planet." The first clash, the aliens struck first. Drones swarmed the forest, firing beams of energy that tore through trees like paper. Ships above unleashed missiles, exploding on impact and sending flames across the valley. The Storm Child leaped high, electricity crackling, slamming into the first wave of drones. Each strike disintegrated them instantly. Zero Flame's firestorm rolled across the ground, melting the metal legs of approaching alien soldiers. Kara's voice echoed, commanding the environment itself. Rocks shifted, earth split, creating walls of stone to shield the humans. Elias and Mara fired their rifles, aiming for drones' weak points. Noah hurled grenades, but he kept low. Terrified, yet determined, the Silent King didn't fight with fire or lightning. He walked through the battlefield, his golden eyes scanning. One touch and an alien soldier froze, then collapsed, controlled by the King's mind. Entire squads surrendered without a fight. The alien commander, from the largest ship above, the alien commander observed. Silver-skinned, cold, emotionless, it spoke into a communication device, its voice carrying across the battlefield. "The 13 are too strong. Kill them. Use the humans as leverage. We will crush this world." A squadron of massive war machines descended, each towering over the trees. Their limbs ended in deadly claws, energy weapons firing continuously. Kara stepped forward, lifting her hands. The earth shook violently, uprooting trees and hurling massive boulders. The war machines staggered but pressed forward. Zero Flame's fire collided with their armor, melting the metal in glowing streams. Sparks flew, and the air filled with the smell of burning metal. The Storm Child's fury, the Storm Child screamed, raising her arms into the sky. Clouds swirled violently, lightning splitting in every direction. Beams of energy struck alien ships, sending them crashing into each other. Elias ducked behind a broken wall, shouting, "She's a storm, don't get in the way." Mara shouted back, then let her loose. The air itself seemed alive. The alien sensors struggled to track anything under the storm's chaos. Drones fell like leaves in the wind, exploding on impact. The Silent King's command, meanwhile. The Silent King moved through the battlefield, his golden eyes glowing brighter. Aliens tried to attack him, but each one that approached fell under his control. Entire platoons turned on their own leaders, confused and terrified. The humans and the 13 used this advantage to push forward. Elias watched in awe. He's controlling them, like puppets. Kara nodded. Exactly. But he can't control the whole fleet at once. That's why we need the Storm Child and Zero Flame. Together, they can hold the sky. The turning point, despite their power, the aliens adapted quickly. The commander deployed massive energy nets that neutralized Kara's earth powers temporarily. Drones fired concentrated energy beams at the Storm Child, forcing her back. One ship hovered directly above them, targeting the Silent King. Its weapons were massive, glowing red. Zero Flame roared, fire erupting around the humans, shielding them from the blasts. Elias grabbed Mara and pulled her back. "We can't hold them forever." The Storm Child's hands glowed brighter. "We don't have to. We just have to make them regret it." Lightning struck the ship, cutting through its energy shields. It rocked violently before crashing into the forest, exploding in a massive fireball. Human courage. Elias turned to the humans. "We fight too. Shoot anything moving. Don't stop." Mara ran into the fray, throwing grenades at approaching drones. Noah, trembling, fired at every target he could see. They were weak compared to the 13, but together, humans made the battlefield chaotic, unpredictable, and dangerous for the aliens. Every human life mattered. Every strike, every dodge, every shot added to the chaos that the aliens had not expected. The commander strikes. The alien commander finally descended from its ship, landing in the center of the battlefield. Its presence alone caused the ground to tremble. Its weapons glowed with a lethal blue energy. "Enough," it shouted. "Destroy them all." Massive alien soldiers emerged from the remaining ships. They marched with mechanical precision, firing beams, claws, and missiles. The humans and the 13 were forced back, but they did not retreat fully. The Silent King raised his hands, controlling the closest alien soldiers, turning them against their own ranks. The Storm Child and Zero Flame continued their relentless assault. Kara manipulated the terrain, hurling massive boulders, splitting the ground, and creating chasms. Elias saw an opportunity, a weak point in one of the alien war machines. He aimed and fired. The shot exploded perfectly, toppling the machine. Mara did the same, and soon several were destroyed in succession. Sacrifice then. A massive drone targeted the Silent King directly. Elias dove forward, taking the hit himself. Pain exploded through his body as metal slammed into him, throwing him to the ground. Mara screamed, rushing to him, but Kara's voice stopped her. "No, move. We can't let the others fall because of one human." Elias groaned but looked up. The 13 held the line. The humans could survive if they stayed alive. His sacrifice was a spark. Others needed to continue the fight. The final strike. Kara lifted her hands higher than ever before, trembling under the strain. For Earth! She shouted. The ground split open beneath the commander's ship. Lava-like energy poured out, burning everything it touched. The storm child unleashed the final storm. Lightning, wind, and fire combining into a vortex of destruction. Zero Flame's fire amplified it, sending waves of heat across the battlefield. The alien commander tried to flee but was caught in the storm, screaming as the combined powers of the 13 tore through its shields. The Silent King's golden eyes glowed like molten fire. Every alien in range fell under his control, freezing them completely. Victory. But at a cost. The battlefield fell silent. Smoke and fire hung in the air. The remaining alien ships retreated, disappearing into the Kung horizon. The humans cheered, but their voices were faint against the destruction. Trees lay shattered, the ground scorched, and bodies, both human and alien, littered the field. Elias struggled to his feet, battered and bruised. Mara helped him up, eyes shining with tears. Kara's red eyes dimmed, but she didn't smile. It's over for now. The Silent King walked forward, surveying the field. They will come back, he said softly. Zero Flame raised a hand, flames dying down. Then we'll be ready. Next time they won't have a chance. Earth's new dawn. The sun rose over the ruined valley. Birds cautiously began to sing. Humans began to gather, slowly emerging from hiding, seeing the devastation but also the hope. Elias looked around. We saved them, all those people. But the 13? You're still a secret. Will humans ever know what really happened? Kara glanced at him, her eyes tired but fierce. It doesn't matter. They will know power exists in this world. That humans can fight back. That Earth is not weak. The storm child sparked one last bolt into the sky, lightning breaking through the clouds. The world trembled, alive again, free, and ready. Cliffhanger ending, future threat far above. Beyond the edge of the solar system, an alien fleet gathered silently. Hundreds of ships, millions of soldiers, waiting. A voice echoed across the void, cold and metallic. Earth has won this battle, but the war is far from over. The camera of the story pans back to the 13, standing tall among humans, the new guardians of Earth. Their eyes glowed with warning, fire, and power. Earth had survived, but the universe had noticed. The hunt was over. The war had only just begun.